You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
3 of Korea's 5 biggest banks just blew through their 2026 household loan ceilings. And NH is quietly turning away mortgage applications at some branches. KB already capped nationwide mortgages at 300 million won, about $217,000. Hana stopped taking September mortgage and Junsa loan applications through brokers entirely. At the same time, Seoul is drafting a property tax overhaul that targets high-value and non-resident single homeowners. And in Mokdong, reconstruction just crossed a milestone that could reshape the Western Seoul skyline. It's Monday, July 13th. Let's look at what's happening in Korea's property market. Household loans across Korea's 5 major banks jumped 3.39 trillion won, about $2.45 billion, in just the first 9 days of July. That base burned through roughly 80% of this year's allowed loan growth, pushing banks toward regulator-imposed shutdowns. Separately, the government is preparing to shift property taxes away from a house count system and toward one based on total holding value. Here's what the numbers show. Household lending at Korea's top 5 banks rose 3.39 trillion won, about $2.45 billion, in the first 9 days of July, burning through 80% of this year's allowed growth. KB Bank capped nationwide mortgage limits at 300 million won, roughly $217,000, regardless of appraised value. Hana Bank suspended broker-submitted applications for September mortgage and Junsa disbursements, tightening the pipeline before the fall closing season. Mokdong's Complex 7 secured reconstruction approval, clearing a 2,550-unit site for rebuilding into 4,341 units at up to 49 stories. A new ICAO height rule takes effect in November 2030, a deadline that could force those 49-story plans down into the 30s if approvals slip. The full 14-complex Mokdong Overhaul carries a construction bill above 30 trillion won, about $21.7 billion, the largest rebuild among Seoul's major redevelopment zones. So what does this mean for buyers weighing a purchase this year? Earlier, we said banks are quietly turning away mortgage applications. Here's what that means if you're financing a purchase now. Approval only gets harder as more branches hit their ceilings. A 300 million won cap and suspended broker channels mean buyers need pre-approval in hand before touring anything above that threshold. Watch the public forums running July 14th to 16th, President Lee's July 23rd property debate, and the tax overhaul due by month's end. Each one will move your entry price, whether you're eyeing a high-value single home or a unit in Mokdong's rebuild. That's today's AI Prism Real Estate. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a Won IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.